This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
You know, there's been some talk in more recent weeks about MLW suing WWE here in 2022. Have you heard about that?
I've only read the headline. I haven't read exact. I guess it's. I don't know what it's about, but I've just read the headline.
So check this out. This is what we were talking about this time, 1996.
All right.
Directly from the Observer. Vince McMahon came out with guns blazing on all fronts in his no-hold-barred war with the opposition, which he claims isn't WCW, but the entire Turner Empire. Among his maneuvers over the past 7 days, filing a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, claiming TBS has been engaged in a systematic plan to destroy the WWF so it can achieve a monopoly over the wrestling industry. Boy, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, years later.
Took out quarter-page ads on both Wednesday and Thursday in the New York Times financial section. And they had Jerry McDevitt send a letter to Eric Bischoff demanding an apology for Bischoff's televised insinuations and other insinuations on the hotline that Titan Sports may be responsible for the power failure in Lakeland on the February 5th Nitro. He also wrote a letter to Ted Turner complaining about WCW reinstituting blading and promising bloodbaths on the Super Brawl pay-per-view show. I want to remind everybody it was blood and guts in December in the WWF when it was Davey Boy and Bret Hart. But now, hey, if they're doing it, well, that's just that's foul. Boy, this all sounds familiar, does it not?
Yeah, it really does. It's like a merry-go-round that never fucking ends, right?
On the surface, it appears to some that McMahon's actions are coming off as desperation. He's admitted at least several times in this past week that he considers his company as fighting for its life, and he's not so worried about what's happening now as much as 6 months from now. And of course, everyone who is hearing all of this is probably drawing some comparisons to what's happening right now. But serious business, the idea that he's trying to claim that this could be a monopoly is just hilarious. By the way, I want to mention Meltzer did his research here. He says WCW says that their commercials are $19,000 a spot for a 30-second spot. The WWF is $15,000. So if anybody is being undercut, WCW is being undercut.
Sure.
But Bischoff does go on Nitro on February 12th and apologize for insinuating that perhaps WWE cut the power. But man, they ran an ad, and I say they, I mean Vince McMahon, ran an ad in the Wall Street Journal Financial Times that said, "Attention TBS stockholders," at a drawing of Ted Turner, and underneath it says, "Does Ted Turner have a personal vendetta against the World Wrestling Federation? Time Warner, beware." And he also faxed a letter or FedExed a letter to Turner that says, "Since there's been no response to my repeated request, and you and your pro wrestling company stop the practice of self-mutilation, I can only assume, based upon the last 2 weeks of Nitro, that the practice of self-mutilation, slicing oneself with a razor blade, is not only condoned but encouraged. As you know, Hulk Hogan has been bleeding all over the place these last 2 weeks, and there have been numerous references on your wrestling program that this weekend's double cage match will be so violent that one opponent will be bleeding to the point of no recognition. This encouraged practice of self-mutilation is disgusting, violent, potentially infectious, and completely contradictory in every way to your testimony before Congress in June of 93, and contrary to your 95 participation of Voices Against Violence. Notwithstanding numerous unprecedented predatory practices against the World Wrestling Federation, if you continue to promote self-mutilation, I hope your stockholders hold you accountable for this unethically guttural, potentially unhealthy practice." This is phenomenal. Of course, if you've been paying attention, not just to the MLW stuff, but the AEW stuff, recently WWE had something to say about the ladies bleeding on AEW, and man, it's just what's old is new again. How about this?
Yeah, once petty and bullshit, always petty and bullshit, I say. And I didn't know he had a problem with ladies bleeding on.
They're trying to essentially attack the advertising agency.
Of course they are.
The way I read it.
Of course they are.
maybe the folks who were already on the show, you can keep at bay. But if you're trying to sell against them, it would be easy to say, oh, you don't want to be on their program. Look what they do. But
Yeah.
Lord, it's fascinating to me that, we were talking about this back then. Now we're talking about this now. And it's also similar. And by the way, this whole monopoly business, I want to remind everybody, isn't this the guy that most people believe sabotaged Starrcade and shut the Crockett's down? You were there for that.
Well, he did sabotage Starrcade and shut the Crockett's down. And so, yeah, he's the one that throughout time, everyone has claimed has had a monopoly on the business. But to his credit, he was the one that made the business what it was today. I mean, he did. So I laugh at it. I laugh at wars, and obviously I was involved in it, and obviously I was a part of it. So it's bullshit, Conrad. It's bullshit.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.